back officially.
Welcome back to episode dose of American Super Squad. I'm Matt North.
And I am Ramon Robolino. That's usually how people pronounce it, so we can go with that.
Yeah. It's funny, your dad says I speak better Spanish than you do.
Oh, I mean, he could have taught me better Spanish.
Honestly, he taught you more Yiddish than Spanish. I remember him saying shalom quite a lot.
Yeah, he was on that wave when he was going to his yoga, but yeah, I think the pandemic made it so he just does his little fucking yoga stretches in the basement and decided not to pay the $200 a month for the privilege of being told how to stretch by some weird guy who doesn't believe in vaccines. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. That's some drama we could get into if we're struggling here, but it's the yoga
we'll
scene.
We'll put that on the back burner.
The yoga scene in Tacoma is interesting. Anyways, we actually came a little more prepared, or at least Matt came more prepared for this app.
Oh yeah, well I got more free time on my hands, so I thought.
That's right. Effort. You do have some more free time. We can dive right in if you want.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as of 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, your boy is unemployed. I was let go for my insurance brokerage positions, so
yeah, they let you down gently, but yeah, this podcast is no longer sponsored by B&B Insurance Brokers.
That might be a little bit too close. Let's call it shit and shit.
Shit and shit, yeah.
Just for legal protection.
The listeners can do the math on that one. Our detectives that are listening right now.
But yeah, it was really a blessing in disguise because now I have so much free time to prepare this podcast, do open mics, focus on my comedy career, and the quality of my sets have gone way up. By being unemployed, it's almost like being a comedian. You're helped by being a loser. You know?
Oh, definitely, yeah, and I think it's the man doesn't want you to be funny, as soon as you get let go, it's like, all right, I guess you can be funny now, and maybe see some sunshine, enjoy life a little bit.
Yeah, it's the cosmic balance.
Yeah,
the universe, gave me something back.
Exactly. So yeah, and that was an interesting saga. Obviously, you know more about it being the inside man, but. This has been going on for basically a year? You had a good year of experience there?
Yeah, well, I started straight out of college because, obviously it's hard to get a job as a business major.
Mm-hmm.
Just going...
Marketing, please.
Marketing, yeah.
Way more important, by the way.
The thinking man's business major.
Mm-hmm. The Don Draper PhD.
Yes, of course. That's what I was going for. I unironically chose that marketing major because of Mad Men. So, Shout out to Don Draper for that one.
Shout out Don.
Shout out Hotep Don.
Yep. Well, anyways, a little background on that. It's funny because we kind of both have some experience. We both applied basically for the same job around the same time,
And Ramon was a fucking idiot, so he didn't get it.
Well, I was an idiot because they have this very legit, definitely not Scientology-esque personality test that they make you take.
Oh, yeah, they measure your thetans or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So they strapped me in there, and it was weird because I was like, this is a sales job. Can't you just interview me or whatever? And they're like, well, we take these personality tests very seriously. It's like the fate of the company is based off of these personality tests, which...
For me, it was the opposite. They were like, oh, just take this quick personality test. It doesn't mean that much.
Well, oh, yeah. Okay, to be fair, that's what they told me, too. And it wasn't until I apparently flunked the personality test...
Yeah, you failed the personality test.
They told me how important these tests were. So, I unfortunately answered all the answers truthfully, thinking that was the best path forward. And little did I know they wanted to see how well you could lie through your teeth.
And I passed with flying colors.
Yeah, Matt passed that test.
I said I was motivated. I said I was a self-starter. I said I was very goal-oriented. All the buzzwords, really.
Yeah. They told me that based on my answers, I was too team-oriented. And God forbid that you get along with your coworkers.
Yeah, God forbid that you don't treat the account managers like trash.
Yeah. And so, funny enough, they said no to me for the sales job, but about a month or two later, we won't name this man in particular, but a big honcho at the B&B office, or the shit and shit
At
office.
the shit and shit office, come on. We're going to have to bleep that out.
Sorry. They, or we could say Moulignon and Moulignon. So, just a little,
that might be a little bit...
dropping some helpful hints here for our Sopranos fans.
Purple and purple?
Purple and purple, yeah.
Eggplant and eggplant?
I mean, you know. Yeah, but they hit me up a couple months later, and they were like, so, obviously you'd be a shit salesman, but we have an account managing position open, and other than your personality test, we were blown away by your interview and everything else.
Oh, yeah, they were blown all right.
Oh, yeah, I gave them something to blow on. So...
He gave some dumb head trying to get a position.
No. That's not what I did.
Yeah, that is what he did, folks.
I definitely did not give head for the account manager position they offered me.
Well, you were unemployed for a long stretch.
I was.
So.
Well, the funny thing is, though, is that when they hit me up, that was at the point where I had already basically given up on the job market. Not because I couldn't get a job, but just because, like, nothing they were really offering me was that interesting. I was like, a fucking economics major. I wanted better than what I was fucking getting offered. I'm like, I'm too good for these positions. And so I got into a fucking grad program, and I was like, you can kick rocks and go piss yourself, because I'm not gonna go work for like 50 grand a year to be told what to do by a bunch of like sales bros.
Yeah.
And
that was probably a good choice, thinking back.
Probably, yeah. I don't regret it. Even though I just fucking gave up on that master's program anyways. I think I made
6 months in, you dropped out.
Yeah, 8 months.
8 months.
To be fair. Yeah, and it was by my own volition too, so, you can't get mad at me. I didn't fail a single class, folks. I'll let you know. But yeah. So that's the shit and shit, Moulignon saga. Sure, there's some juicy nuggets that we'll get into later, but that's where we're at right now, folks. We're living the La Vida Loca in the unemployment line.
Yeah. I'm living big, dedicating all my time to becoming the greatest Cumtown ripoff of all time.
That's why we're here, folks. That's really, I mean, for what other reason would anyone start a podcast these days?
Yeah.
Than to become the greatest ripoff of all time.
Or to fucking educate people about growing mushrooms.
Yeah. It's not our job to educate you, by the way. So if you want to grow mushrooms, just go fucking pick some in the forest and eat them and see what happens, I guess.
Oh yeah, remember that riff we did where we were talking about how it's not our job to educate you about crypto?
Oh yeah, it's true.
As affluent white men, it is not our job to educate you about Bitcoin.
It really is not our fucking job. If you want to get into it, do your own fucking research, okay? We're busy watching the markets, okay?
Yeah, we're busy losing $30,000 and getting ready to kill ourselves at any given moment. Because we bought the wrong ape NFT.
Yeah, unfortunately. Funny enough, when I subletted my room down in California, when I quit the program, the guy who took it over was this guy who I thought was a student at Cal Poly, which is where I was at. So yes, I am smart, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, even though I didn't finish.
Cal Polyamorous.
Yeah. Well. That town had a lot of college girls and a lot of, we'll say, affluent white middle-aged women in California who loved living in a college town. So
Oh yeah.
there was some.
We know what that means.
Yeah, we know exactly what that means. So
The targets were very active in that
oh,
area.
believe me, and I lived 5 minutes from the Target, folks.
That was his hunting ground for
Oh, yeah.
for affluent MILFs.
My natural habitat there. Yeah. So, but the employment tables have flipped now. So for the longest time, I was the one sucking off the government's teat very gladly.
I'll have you know, I haven't applied for unemployment yet.
No.
If I get low on funds, I'll definitely start taking that government.
You should take
cheese.
advantage of it as soon as you can. I mean, come on.
Definitely not biased.
Yeah, definitely not biased at all here. But yeah, now I am technically gainfully employed. And so...
Yeah, he took the Adam Friedland route of becoming a paralegal.
I did.
For Vox.
Yeah, and I'll have you... Well, not... Well, doesn't hurt.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, you really hopped on that unemployment train like at the peak when they were giving out those $600.
Oh, I made so much fucking money off the government. It's ridiculous.
To be fair, I did too off financial aid in college. Like I was making like $3,000 a quarter.
Yeah, you were making a shit ton. I was still making money per quarter. Like I was still poor enough to be getting paid to go to school, but it was like maybe $1,000 a quarter. And then once our tyrannical liberal government shut down the world.
Joe Biden.
Joe
Biden, wake up.
Yeah. Once Sleepy Joe did all that, even before he was president, obviously. He was the puppet master, as we all know.
He orchestrated the gas prices.
Yeah, I unfortunately was not able to continue my affluent school library position. So
his position of power in the school library.
Yeah, I was able to hop on that unemployment assistance with the quickness, and I was making probably double from that what I would have ever earned working in the library. And then at the end of it, like when my stuff was running out, they just decided to give me a bunch of back pay, and I made literally like almost 5 figures off of just the government at once.
Nice. So if any of you fiscal conservatives out there are wondering who ruined the economy, it was our boy Ramon.
To be fair, I did pump some of it back in, but you know, all money in, no money out is the motto. So. And we're sipping on our podcast water here.
Yeah, we're not going to name the brand because we weren't sponsored. I had to pay for these out of pocket. But if you think of the brand of canned water in every single podcast you've ever watched, that's what we're drinking right now.
Yep. So take note, folks. Especially if you're working for... Should we even name them if we're not getting paid?
No, of course.
Yeah, fuck them.
Trust your Jewish advisor.
Oh, I will. The water will not be named.
Don't mention the brand if they're not paying you, Ramon.
No, here, I'll take a sip. Real loud sip, and we'll see if they can decide what water we're drinking. For the record, that was me drinking water. That was Matt giving head.
No,
So,
that was me drinking water as well.
Two separate things
record.
going on here. They may have sounded similar, but they're very different. Damn, yeah. So we're just kicking back, enjoying our water, living the sweet life. La Vida Loca.
So I'm kind of pissed. Nick Mullen is in Portland tonight, but all his tickets are sold out. I found out last minute that he was coming to town, and I wanted to go see him, but then again, his comedy kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think his natural habitat is working the soundboard somewhere in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Getting paid $30,000 a month to do that.
That Astoria Brownstone. The Anthony Cumia Studios.
Yeah. We'll make it there one day. We're in a satellite office right now, but we'll make our way.
We're in the Hassan Piker Studios tonight.
Hassan Piker Studios, yeah.
He's actually bankrolling this podcast.
Yeah, if you
as
guys,
controlled opposition for Cumtown.
Yeah, so if we get any blowback from anything we say on this podcast, direct your hate mail and not death threats. to him.
Your Minecraft death threats
Yeah,
to the
in
Sod
Minecraft,
Piper's
not
$3 million
IRL.
West Hollywood home.
Yeah.
But yeah, the goal is to get big enough that we have people trying to shoot us like they did our boy Nick.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to become martyrs for the cause.
Oh yeah, we're trying to turn Come Town style riff comedy into high art.
Oh, it's gonna be high art, all right. Yeah, definitely an art form, folks.
Just think of the alternate history if Nick Mullen actually got by that one dude outside his show in like Maryland. Oh my god. Imagine what that dude sounds like too.
He would have been the next John Lennon, folks.
I mean, they're both controversial figures. Mm-hmm. They're both mildly autistic. Both beat women.
Yep. Allegedly. Probably both into Asian women.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. He did live in Chinatown for quite a while.
He did, and there's 2 ways to pay rent in Chinatown.
Suck dick for truck fit.
Mm-hmm. So what do we got? Well, now that you're chilling at home now, not having to show up to the office, I see here you have written down a 5-year plan / manifesto.
No manifesto.
What is all
just
about?
A 5-year plan, which really was just a play on words from the Soviet glorious 5-year plan.
Right, because this is a communist socialist podcast.
Yeah, this is an anarcho-communist podcast, as we put in the first episode. That was definitely not ironic.
Nope.
100% real.
Very legit, folks.
But yeah, just business plans for this podcast. We have a Patreon set up, patreon.com/American Super Squad. Mm-hmm. If you want to financially support me specifically, because I'm a broke bitch.
Yeah, all proceeds will be going to the Matt North.
The Starving Israeli Children's Fund.
The Starving Israeli Children's Fund.
AKA my bank account.
Yeah. It'll be funneled through Israel directly to us, so no need to worry. If you're BDS, that money is not going to Israel. We're just taking advantage of their tax code.
Their very lenient tax code.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm thinking of printing some stickers with QR codes on them that just say ass, that lead to our YouTube channel. Yeah. Maybe just directly to the Patreon. Cut out the middleman.
Oh yeah, that's the marketing degree coming into effect.
Right there. I mean, I spent 4 years and none of my own money on that degree, so might as well get my money's worth. You know?
Might as well.
Oh yeah, right after we recorded the first ep, the listeners probably won't know what we're talking about because we haven't published the first episode yet. Mm-hmm. We'll probably publish them around the same time, but right after we recorded the first ep, we watched a few Frank Hassel videos.
Oh yeah. Frankie H, baby.
Do we want to go a little bit into the Frank Hassel lore?
Sure, we could. I mean, it might lead into a little better because he is kind of under the same conglomerate media umbrella as our boy Sam Hyde as well.
Oh yeah, the Gumroad Media Empire.
Yeah. So, but we could jump right into Frankie boy. Yeah, so he's a close compatriot with our boy Sam Hyde.
Samuel Al-Hayedi.
Al-Hayedi, yeah.
AKA the Ghost of Kiev.
Yeah, the Ghost of Kiev, a.k.a. every mass shooter for the past 2 years, a.k.a.
He keeps getting away with it, folks.
He keeps getting away, yeah. But yeah, Frank, he is a really interesting character. If you already know who he is, congratulations. You're probably a real winner.
You're winning in life.
You're winning in life. He does, I guess what you could say, like, 2014, 2015 era YouTube prank style content, but he definitely turns it up a notch.
A few notches,
we could say, to the point where basically every video of his on YouTube is a re-upload because YouTube does not want him on the platform at all.
They're trying to silence a true artist.
They really are. And yeah, we were watching his stuff, and I don't even really know where to begin with it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory if you've seen it.
I mean, it's mostly just harassing people.
It is. It's blatantly harassing people.
Just cutting out any pretext of social experiments, pranks, etc., and then just going straight to the source. Verbally assaulting people on the street.
Yeah, and I think once in a while he's lucky he catches someone who probably deserves it, but there are a lot of people catching a lot of strays with him because he does not discriminate.
He's firing on full auto.
Yeah, and he seems to have terrorized basically the entire East Coast at this point. I've seen videos of him in like a Publix down south.
At least all of Rhode Island.
At least all of Rhode Island. I mean, that little speck. Yeah, I mean, every single citizen of Rhode Island has been harassed. They've been a victim of the hassle doctrine, as he puts it.
There's a class action lawsuit in the works. I'm hearing.
Yeah, and he's got his whole Philly Nightmare series as well, which we've seen.
Philly Nightmare series.
The Philly Nightmare, yeah, I think we saw a couple of those. The one where he was passing out those fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh, that was my most vivid memory. Was him harassing that guy on a date with his friend.
With his friend, yeah.
With his friend, quote unquote.
His big-bodied friend.
Ramon, we don't body shame.
We're not body shaming. We're inclusive. They were a big-bodied friend of the podcast. Yeah, so he was handing out fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and to be fair, he grabbed them completely randomly. He gave them, probably at least 20 cards to choose from, and he picked the raped. So he was identified as the raped in that episode, and then Frank pulled into his deck, and he pulled out his I guess his trump card, you could say, the rapist, which at this point
is blue eyes white dragon.
Yeah, his blue eyes white dragon, folks. This is the most OP card in the entire fucking deck. So he already had the clear advantage, and I don't think this guy took too fondly to that for some reason. I guess he just wasn't a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, or
yeah,
I don't know.
Who could predict why he wasn't engaged in that scenario,
Yeah, I don't know why. And he took issue with Frank Hassel's GoPro, insulin pump on the top of his head. He's a diabetic, as we know.
As we all know, insulin pumps are best installed at the base of the forehead.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And there was a bit of a tussle, we could say. Legally speaking, there were some light assaults going on. Nothing too crazy, but there was a bit of a rumble in Philly Park.
And just so you know, Ramon is not a licensed paralegal, but he is training to get his license. So.
Yeah, well, you don't technically need a license. It's a certificate, and it's like if you want
a piece of paper with crayon on it.
It's probably good enough. It's more of like, just to prove that you know what you're doing. It's not like there's no law that says you have to have the certificate. It's not like you are an attorney, you have to get like your bar number and everything. It's just like if you want to unlock like decently paying jobs and shit like that, you pretty much need to get one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Frank Hassel and the Hassel Doctrine. If you know, you know. And funny enough, it ties into one of our main topics from last week, the sissification of America. He has videos of going into grocery stores as Dr. Don Wario, a real doctor.
Don Wario, MD.
Yep. And he diagnoses people with sissification and bimbofication, and he makes sure he always has an emergency set of women's clothing on him at all times to stop
for emergencies.
Yeah, for emergencies only, because he will zoom and enhance. He will scan every middle-aged man, confused and upset man in a grocery store trying to buy his wife their last set of tampons before they hit menopause, and he goes up to them and informs them of their diagnosis, and usually they are pretty upset about it. They don't know how to feel, and so those women's clothing come in real handy, folks.
Would you say that Dr. Don Wario is the world's first and leading sissyologist?
Ooh. Are you trying to start beef between me and Dr. Don Wario?
Oh, yeah. You're the OG sissyologist.
Yeah, I would like to think I am the OG in terms of being like a professional sissyologist, because I think with Dr. Wario, he is just a doctor by trade, but he specializes in the sissification field. So he's more on the medical things. So they'll go to him basically to be diagnosed with being a sissy, and then I will be doing the background research that lays the foundation for how they become fully sissified and the proper hormones to go on and the way they should dress and the way they should suck cock and be hypnotized into being
Ramon
sluts.
knows quite a bit about sucking cock.
I know how to diagnose people who want to suck cock. Matt here, Exhibit A.
No, I am not a patient of yours, just for the record. You can check my medical records. Ramon is not listed anywhere. All of my doctors are either fully straight or bisexual doctors.
Well, and I would be the fully straight doctor.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, folks.
I'm thinking no. We get into these little brain wars from time to time. Infowars.
Yeah. So I'm the one who prescribes the medication. Frank is the one who tells them they need it, I would say. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. Sissyology really is such a fascinating field. I don't want to get too deep into Sissyology this episode since we covered it so extensively.
We could do this podcast for 10 years of just us reading the Sissyology subreddit, and I think we would be golden.
We could, but I don't know if that's the direction we want to go.
Well, it's not maybe the direction we want to go, but it might be inevitable.
Oh, man.
Anyways.
The old Thanos, I am inevitable.
Yeah. It really is.
Oh, man. In that same pantheon, I did want to touch on the Sam Hyde versus iDubbbz drama.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following it a little bit more extensively than Ramon has.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I caught up a little bit, but I think there's still some details that Matt needs to fill us in on here.
All right, so getting right into it, the saga begins with the iDubbbz documentary on Sam Hyde. He flew out to Rhode Island to do sort of a hit piece documentary on how Sam fell off. There's some debate as to the intention of the original documentary.
He wanted to be the puppet master, Matt.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
He wanted to pull the strings.
They wouldn't let Ian be the puppet master, so he was a little upset about that, it seems. But where things went wrong or right, depending on your definition, is Ian never published it. After 9 months post-recording the documentary, Sam released his own hour-and-a-half long video chronicling his attempt to sabotage Ian's filming schedule. It's a great video. I would recommend you check it out. I forget what the YouTube video is called, but just look up Sam Hyde bullying iDubbbz and you'll probably find it.
Oh, you'll find it, yeah. If we don't make a dime from this podcast, at the very least, we're educating the audience.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the goal of this podcast always was. We don't care about money. We care about educating the audience.
Exactly. It's not our job to educate you, but we will sacrifice ourselves, the mental trauma to educate you on.
Yeah, we'll put in the mental work, the emotional labor, as they would say.
Exactly.
But anyways, that video is great. They go through a whole Excel document of all the ways that they want to fuck with him, including paying a woman to pretend to be Sam's girlfriend, an actress, if you will, to pretend to be his girlfriend who is also like high on fentanyl and popping pills.
To be fair too, even if they didn't hire her, any woman who is in a long-term relationship with Sam Hyde would probably have to be on fentanyl.
Oh man. But yeah, Sam Hyde fucks with iDubbbz for about 2 weeks, and it's glorious. And then after Sam releases his version, iDubbbz recuts his documentary and then publishes that under the name Getting Away With It, which I think we can all agree Sam got away with something.
Sam got away with basically everything he wanted to get away with.
Yeah. So there was that whole saga with the documentary. There was some beef going on there. There was some point of contention about whether Ian came there to do a hit piece. Because there was a specific interview where he calls Sam out for something that happened years ago. Sam copyright striked his content cop or his Kickstarter crap video where he was criticizing Sam's My Little Pony game that he was making on Kickstarter that I think was just a straight up scam. I'm not too educated on that whole
I don't
scenario.
know.
But anyways,
that was a low blow for iDubbbz.
There was some conflict there, some tension, and then after that had all sort of cooled, iDubbbz set up his Creator Clash influencer boxing event, which took place back
the future
in May.
of entertainment, folks.
The future of YouTube entertainment. So Sam was not invited to that event. He was actually banned. He paid $11,500 for front row seats, which he was not able to use.
To cheer on his boy, too. He was there to support iDubbbz.
Yeah, he was there to support... He was going to be there to support iDubbbz, and because he wasn't invited to the actual event himself, what he did instead, which I think was a glorious move on his part, is he offered to train Harley Morenstein, a.k.a. Epic Mealtime, to which he agreed to do. And there's a video of Harley on his channel going to Rhode Island to train under the sensei Sam Hyde.
Yeah, it's basically like all of Rhode Island is like a Buddhist temple where you go to learn, the tiger style, all the different,
the drunken master.
Yeah, the drunken master. He's learning every single chamber of the Shaolin Kung Fu master artwork. So
learning how to be a savage.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely the Shaolin of New England, we'll say.
And that video has some juicy tidbits in it as well, like the fact that Sam insisted Harley put himself up in the worst motel of all time. That had like a used condom on the radiator. There were jizz stains on the floor, hypodermic needles, like the works. Meth burns on the carpet, I think, were something directly cited. And that whole video is great. Check that out as well. Harley's video, training under Sam Hyde.
Well, if you want to be the best, you have to train under adversity.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not going to put him up in the Ritz-Carlton and expect him to come out here and be able to brutalize somebody in the ring. You know what I mean?
That was exactly Sam's thought process as well.
So, great minds think alike, I guess.
Yeah. Great tactician mindset from Sam Hyde there.
Anyways, I think everything kind of just wraps up in terms of like, now there's this rift between good and evil, we'll say, on the internet. Sam obviously being objective good.
Chaotic good.
Chaotic good, I guess, yeah.
Specific about it.
And iDubbbz is, we'll say, chaotic neutral at best.
Lawful evil.
Lawful evil, probably, yeah.
Because there was that whole justification, I don't know if you heard the clip, but... Sam, iDubbbz, and Keemstar were all on like a podcast together talking about the planning of the event. And iDubbbz and his girlfriend were talking about how Sam was too much of a brand risk for the event.
Which is hilarious. Yeah, I guess he was
which Sam just spammed the laughing crying emoji because it was in like Twitter Spaces or whatever.
Oh, yeah. A threat to the brand. A guy trying to train you how to be the best boxer possible at a boxing event, folks.
Yeah.
A threat to brand credibility. Yeah, and it all wraps up with Sam now still trying to get his way into the next Creator Clash. And I think the only way that's going to be possible is, as Sam put it, dump that Yoko Ono bitch.
You gotta get rid of Yoko Ono.
You gotta get rid of Yoko Ono, who's currently controlling iDubbbz right now.
The puppet master.
The puppet master.
She is the puppet master.
She is the puppet master. I've never seen such a thing. Literally, think about this. Someone who is so, like, manipulative and behind the scenes also literally exposes their full naked body and, like, shoves things in every orifice for $5 a month. It's like it's the duality. It's like this hidden shadow figure who also shoves anal beads in their ass like the next day. Like, it's crazy.
Ramon knows a little something about shoving beads up his ass.
Well, not up my ass, folks, but I do know a thing or two about managing X-rated talent.
Yeah, so you can check out Ramon's next curated video on browsers.com.
Mm-hmm. The executive producer / director / that's it, actually. I'm not going to...
Fluffer.
I'm the fluffer for the woman, so they can get turned on.
No, you're the fluffer for the man.
I'm the fluffer
you're
for the women.
You're the one injecting liquid blue chew into their cock.
I will do the injection. That's okay. Yes, like medical fluffing, I'll do.
If I can wear gloves and use a hypodermic needle, that's fine.
That's just medical at that point. I mean, I'm not
purely medical.
Purely medical.
Purely a medicinal hand job that I gave him.
It's not a hand job. Well, in theory only. It's literally just me injecting steroids into their cock.
Yeah, we're all about theory on this podcast.
We are all about
political theory, sexual theory, Sissyology theory.
Sissyology theory, folks, which is, I think, the gap between political and sexual theory, by the way.
It really is one of the greatest humanities topics that you can cover.
I think my main goal here for the podcast is, if we get a big enough audience, I really just want to politicize the sissy community, because right now it seems too unified. I want there to be...
You want to cause discord.
I want to cause discord, because right now I don't see enough political discourse on the Sissyology subreddit, if I'm being quite honest with you. You know, and these things matter too, because on one hand you've got sissies who I think would benefit from a MAGA agenda, and the other sissies who sort of embrace their feminine side under our liberal government at the moment. So, you know, because I think under the MAGA empire, you know, I think these communities flourish under adversity, and so I think having someone like Trump in there to sort of push back against the sissification of America, I think can only make them stronger.
Act as a foil, if you will.
Exactly, act as a foil.
Some would say that Trump himself is sissified in a few ways. You know, he does have a dumpy.
He does have a dumpy, yeah.
You can't deny that.
Yeah, and I think in this era of misinformation, you could convincingly make some sort of edited speech or just edit Trump into some sort of sissy gear, and I think you've got a really successful campaign strategy against him. I mean, you walk that guy up onto the stage in a fucking chastity cage and some lingerie, I mean, shit. That's going to turn some of those fucking truckers into, maybe, they're like, well, I sure as hell don't like Camelin, the way she looks and the way she talks. But, man, I really can't vote for a guy who's locked his cock up in a cage. So, yeah, we need to politicize that era of our culture.
Yeah, I'm thinking politicization. So, in personal news, you're getting your wisdom teeth out.
I am.
This week.
Yep.
Are you excited? Are you excited for the fentanyl that they're going to give you?
Well, yeah, I'm excited about that. But it's literally like, the way they described it to me is like they're giving me medical heroin to fucking pull teeth out of me. Because maybe I was naive, but I thought they do the classic. They put the mask over your face, you breathe in the laughing gas, and you fall asleep, and then they go to town on your mouth. Turns out, I guess nowadays, they put literally an IV into your arm.
That's what they did for me.
Which is fucking disgusting. And they just give you shit that makes you loopy and fall asleep. So it's literally like they're giving me heroin to pull teeth out of my mouth, which I have mixed feelings about. Not a big fan of needles, not a big fan of getting teeth pulled out, but
Ramon's a big baby, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not a big
baby. He's afraid
of
little needles.
Needles suck.
It's the only reason he hasn't transitioned yet, is he's too afraid of needles.
Well, there's many reasons, but I would not transition even if that was my only fear, man. For the record. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I've now done fentanyl by proxy.
Nice.
Because I got my wisdom teeth out a few weeks ago, and they mentioned very casually right before the procedure that fentanyl was a part of the anesthetics. And it basically just went like, oh, fentanyl? And then the IV was already in my arm, and I fucking got knocked out.
Which at that point, I'd rather just have them tell me it after it's in my arm, because if they tell me they're going to be fucking shooting me up, I'm going to maybe have second thoughts.
Yeah.
So
I think that was a concerted effort on their part to bamboozle me.
Which I'm fine with. Anyways, I guess there's important news in the world, but in terms of like talking about internet media, I had a slight riff that I could go into.
All right,
it's pretty short.
Let's hear it.
So I don't know if people are active on like TikTok or wherever the fuck you get this shit, but there's this guy, the Aki guy. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
He's, I'm sure someone, if anyone's fucking listening to this, has seen this guy. He's like this Middle Eastern guy who runs like a bodega out in like Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Many such men.
Many such men. But this guy has found immense success on TikTok because he does this thing where he'll have people come in and ask for different like sandwiches and menu items, but done the Aki way. Which is just
what is the Aki way?
It's cramming as much shit and junk food and garbage and shit into one sandwich as possible.
Jesus.
Which is hilarious. And everything is halal too. Or at least I think, because I'm pretty sure like when he wraps shit in bacon, it's like it's beef bacon to make sure there's no pork involved.
Yeah, it better be fucking halal.
Anyways, he'll cram a whole bunch of shit. He'll take like a fucking stack of like ramen noodles and wrap them in these Jamaican patties and then drown them in like mozzarella sticks and then pile on like a tomato to make it look healthy, and then he'll wrap it up and then he'll cut it in half, and then he'll show you the cross section. He's like, and the result is OMG. And then he has the customer say, can't forget the bev. And he says, never, never, never. And then he hands them the fucking heart attack on a bun and like their fucking iced tea. And that's the thing, and for some reason that's like super fucking popular on TikTok. And I don't know how this just clicked in my mind, but I thought of this way of doing it because I've got to show Matt after the show, because this is going to be infinitely funnier if you know how these videos go down, because there's definitely like a script for each episode. But he starts out with like, first you put the bacon on the grill, then you put the patties on the grill, then you put the mozzarella sticks in the fryer, and all that type of shit. Well, I thought, what if he gets a little edgy with it? And someone asks, hey, Aki, can I get a beep the Aki way? And he says, sure. And he says, first you put the N on the grill. And then you put the I in the fryer. And then so on and so forth. There's a G in the microwave. And, you know, you do the rest.
Episode 2, and we've already got our first... Ramon couldn't help himself.
Well, I just thought it was really funny. And then I like to think that he just like spells the word out on a piece of paper and then like wraps it up and like he's like, and the result is, and I beep 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 beep. And then,
oh fuck.
And then the customer says, can't forget the beep, and then some other slur, and he says, never, exactly. never, never. And then you cuss out the customer. Here you go, beep. He says, thank you, Aki. And that's the riff, folks. Which I don't think that could be a stand-up riff. I don't think anyone under the age of 30 or over the age of 30 would get it.
Or under the age of 18.
Or under the age of 18. But that's racist Aki way. So anyone wants to steal that bit, I guess.
Our first Cumtown style character.
Yeah.
Racist Aki.
Racist Aki. And to be fair too, there's rumblings that he's becoming a sellout. He's closing his Red Hook location and just opening up a bodega in Manhattan because he's fucking focusing on TikTok content instead of the day ones that made him, you know.
Yeah, forgetting his ride or die fans.
Yeah, so it's only fair that we make him racist now.
Uh-huh.
So that's racist Aki. I've been holding that one in all week, folks. So I hope it was worth the wait.
I feel like for our first official bit that definitely was worth the wait.
I think so, yeah. And I'll show Matt afterwards an actual Aki video so he gets it. And I think once the cogs in the brain start turning, it'll light bulb
like
will turn
a fine
on.
wine.
It will, folks. This is going to be a peak 1990 Cabernet Sauvignon type bit.
All right, so we're at about 45 minutes. I think that does it for this episode of American Super Squad. Slightly shorter than the first episode.
I know all our fucking Coomer fans with no fucking attention span probably are already tuned out anyways, so we'll call it a fucking day, I guess. We'll leave on a high note. Yeah, I don't know. I guess before we wrap it, do we want to make the reading of Sissyology subreddit like a weekly like add-on, or do we want to just dig into that bag when we don't fucking care?
I think we can keep that in our back pocket for now. But
okay.
If there's any posts that you had...
No, I should start doing that, actually.
You start bringing posts?
Yeah. Let's get some audience interaction here. Give us feedback. Do you want weekly Sissy updates, or should we keep those as like a little treat? For like, every
let's
few
leave it up
episodes.
to the fans.
Yeah, let's do a fan vote. All 10 of you who are definitely not biased sissies anyways. Anyways, yeah, so that's been episode 2 of American Super Squad.
Put that little Latin flair on it.
Exactly.
All right. Hope you ass men have a great week.
Yep, ass men and ass women and ass they thems, Matt.
Oh yes, ass women.
We're inclusive.
And non-binaries.
And non-binary ass people. Bye-bye.